If someone had told me a decade ago that I could live on just $1,200, 0 cents a month after 60 and not just survive, but live beautifully, I would have laughed. I imagined retirement would either be full of luxury or constant sacrifice. It turns out there's a quiet middle path, one that's not about scarcity, but simplicity. Today, I want to share how I found peace, joy, and even abundance while living on a modest monthly budget. This isn't just a story about money, it's a story about freedom. Because living beautifully doesn't cost what we think it does. Part one, the wake up call. I used to earn well. I worked in a city office for decades, long hours, busy days, expensive lunches, and rent that devoured half my income. I thought I was building a comfortable retirement. Then came a divorce, a health scare, a job downsizing. Suddenly, I was 58 with little savings, no home of my own, and no pension big enough to live the way I used to. I panicked. I asked myself questions like, where will I live? Will I be a burden? What does enough look like? One day, while going through old papers, I found a journal entry from when I was 25. It said, greater than one day, I want a little house with flowers outside, peace in my heart, and a quiet place to drink tea. I stared at that line and I realized I didn't need more money. I needed a different dream. Part two, downsizing to freedom. I made a bold decision. I sold almost everything, the big furniture, the designer bags I never used, and all the just in case items. And I moved out of the city and into a small cottage rental in a quiet rural town. My rent dropped from $1,500, 0 cents a month to $400, 0 cents. Yes, it was smaller, but the windows let in golden light every morning. There was a garden and silence at night. It wasn't just downsizing my home, it was downsizing my worries. Suddenly, $1,200, 0 cents felt like a canvas, not a cage. Part three, rethinking what luxury means. People hear $1,200, 0 cents a month and think poverty. But here's the truth, luxury is subjective. A $7, 0 cents coffee every day used to feel fancy. Now I brew French press at home and drink it under the sunrise. I used to shop for entertainment. Now I garden, I paint, I walk. I used to dine out twice a week. Now I host potlucks, cook simple meals, and cherish the stories shared over them. I started asking myself, is this a need or is this a habit? When I cut the habits that didn't serve me, I uncovered space for things that did. Part, the budget that set me free. Well, here's how my $1,200, 0 cents breaks down each month. $400, 0 cents, shared cottage rental outside the city. $250, 0 cents, fresh produce, legume staples, and homemade meals. Utilities and internet, $120, 0 cents. 150 slash medications dollars, $150, 0 cents. $60, 0 cents, bike plus occasional bus fare. Phone, $30, 0 cents. $190, 0 cents. Do I buy new clothes every month? No. Do I eat steak every weekend? No. But I eat well, I sleep peacefully, and I smile often. That to me is wealth. Part five, finding joy in the little things. When I slowed down my spending, something else slowed down too, my mind. I noticed birdsong again, began journaling, pages filled with gratitude. I started baking bread, reading poetry, sitting on my porch with no purpose, but to be. The world told me happiness was behind purchases. But real joy I found is behind presence. A walk in the woods, a warm bowl of soup, a conversation with a neighbor. These don't cost money, they cost attention. A commercial, community over consumption. Living simply taught me the value of people. I joined a free book club at the local library. I volunteer once a week at the food bank, not for applause, but because it fills my soul. A neighbor and I swap produce from our gardens. There's an old man down the street who plays violin on his porch. I bring him cookies. He plays a song. We've lost so much to the idea of independence, but in this slower life, I rediscovered the beauty of interdependence. That doesn't cost a dime, but it makes you feel rich. Part 7, my health improved. Here's something unexpected. My health, physical and mental, got better. I used to eat out often, processed food, stress-filled days, late nights. Now I sleep early, I walk every day, I cook meals with care, I laugh more. I take fewer pills, my blood pressure improved, my digestion settled. Stress, the silent thief of wellness, no longer has its grip on me. All because I stepped off the treadmill of more and chose enough. Part 8, lessons money couldn't teach me. Here's what I've learned living on $1,200, 0 cents a month. Peace is worth more than possessions. A full calendar isn't the same as a full heart. You don't need to be rich to feel abundant. Simplicity brings clarity. Time is the real luxury. I used to envy people with wealth. Now I wonder if they envy my peace. Because I've traded busy for stillness, anxiety for ease, stuff for space. And what a beautiful trade it's been. Part 9, my daily routine. Here's what a typical day looks like. 6:30 a.m., wake up with the sun, brew tea, journal. 7:30 a.m., morning walk, feed the birds. 8:30 a.m., light breakfast, read a chapter of a book. 10 o'clock a.m., volunteer or do errands. Home cooked lunch, sometimes shared with a neighbor. 2 o'clock p.m., nap or garden. 4 o'clock p.m., creative time, painting, writing, mending clothes. 6 o'clock p.m., light dinner. 7 o'clock p.m., sunset walk or call with a loved one. 9 o'clock p.m., herbal tea, quiet reading, bed. It's not exciting by Instagram standards, but it's deeply, quietly fulfilling. A message for you. You might be watching this thinking, I could never live on that little. My life is too complicated. I'm too far gone. A friend. It's not about the number. It's about the mindset. Ask yourself, what do I truly need to feel safe? What makes me feel alive? What can I release to make room for peace? Start small. Clear one drawer. Cook one homemade meal. Take one walk without your phone and see what unfolds. You don't have to wait for retirement or disaster to choose simplicity. You can start today. I live on $1,200, 0 cents a month. and I live well because I've learned that the most beautiful life isn't made in shopping carts or luxury cruises. It's made in moments, choices, and mindfulness. You don't need to have it all, just enough. Come and a little peace, and maybe a cup of tea under the morning sun. That's my kind of rich. And I hope in some way it can be yours too.